Michelle with two L's, and I am one half of Force of Light Entertainment. I'm here today to give you my thoughts, my review of the new 20th Century Fox movie, A Haunting in Venice. Before we get started, though, if you enjoy reactions, if you enjoy reviews, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, give the video a thumbs up and hit the notification bell. It all helps with the algorithm. And I want to also give a shout out to Al from LA, who on our Monday live streams, for those of you who don't know, we have live streams every Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss all things pop culture, movies. He sent in a super chat and said for us to go watch this and review it. And I did take Iz to go see this. We saw this last night. So thanks, Al. Well, let me get into my thoughts on A Haunting in Venice. For those of you who don't know, I give you my initial reaction, what I liked, what I didn't like, and I rate the movie. For initial reaction, I thought it was a mildly entertaining movie. Not the best thing ever, definitely not the worst thing ever. Again, I was entertained. And for starters, this movie's only about an hour and 47 minutes long, which is nice in today's time. So I enjoyed that. I will say, though, again, going back to this title, originally, when I saw the trailer, it looked kind of like this very spooky. I mean, it showed them going to like a seance, and that's not my cup of tea personally. But then I realized, wait, this is the third installment of the adaptations they're doing of the Agatha Christie novels that are the murder mysteries. Of course, we had the Death on the Orient Express, or Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, and this is the third installment of these movies with this particular detective, A Haunting in Venice. And it was when I realized what this movie is that I was like, oh, I've seen this, how they do this before. Typically, and this movie is no different, where, yes, he does get invited to a seance on Halloween, and this is an adaptation. They're adapting, I guess, I believe it was called Hallowe'en Party. It was a novel that, again, Agatha Christie did. And so the detective is invited to a seance on Halloween in Venice, but it's not, because, again, that's not my cup of tea. It doesn't go the way you think. We'll just put it that way. It is all set up to put him in this particular place so he ends up having to solve a murder. And for those of you, I'm a big whodunit type person. For those of you who like whodunits and you watch them, at times, definitely in TV shows, there would be kind of a spooky one, but usually, and this is the case with this movie without spoiling thing, there's rational things and logical things behind it. It's not as it seems, so to say. I will say it's kind of a interesting route they went with this, because they heavily marketed it as a horror movie. And I think doing so, they're trying to appeal to a younger audience that isn't really necessarily into these type of movies, because whodunits, these movies have tended to lean a little older in audience. And I kind of wonder if that's not leading to the audience score that I saw in Rotten Tomatoes, because, again, the group that would typically enjoy this movie, I don't know if they're going to see it because of the way it was marketed. I enjoy whodunits, and I have learned that I can enjoy some horror elements in movies. So I actually fit, I think, the mold pretty well to enjoy this movie. And again, my initial thoughts are that I thought it was a fairly entertaining movie. So let me get into what I liked. I like this detective. He's interesting. I enjoy whodunits, quite frankly. Again, I like whodunits, and I enjoy, as I just said, I enjoy horror elements. And this movie, I mean, did I lose any sleep? No, I didn't lose any sleep. Again, there's kind of logical things going on with, and that's what's fun about it. Having this detective who's so rational and who's so good at spotting things, trying to figure, things begin to play on his mind of what's going on here. And it's interesting to try to figure out with him what is going on in the situation. What is going on with all these spooky elements? What's real? What's not real? So I enjoyed that element of the movie. The setting of Venice is absolutely stunning. every shot they got in Venice, Italy is just, I mean, beautiful, totally beautiful. This movie, mostly, almost all the movie takes place in this big house in Venice, this old house that is so, I mean, at times stunning in itself, but it kind of sets up this feeling of almost being literally trapped inside this house for this time, which adds to the horror elements of this movie. Which again, I enjoyed. I enjoyed all those aspects of it. The cast, I think, was all great. They all did a great job. Yeah, I mean that as far as likes, that's kind of it. If you enjoy horror elements, then I think you'll like it. To me, I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone would think it's straight. I don't think this is straight up horror because there's too much of the whodunit in it to be straight horror, in my opinion. And just the way the movie goes, it doesn't really lean in the necessarily horror. But there's a lot of horror elements in this movie, which and some jump scares that can kind of get you. So they really lean into the creepy element with this film. And I personally enjoyed that aspect of it. I will say this, all three installments of these movies have been very different feeling. Again, Murder on the Orient Express, A Death on the Nile, and then now Haunting in Venice. In a time where studios don't really take chances, I actually will give that as a positive. I like that they really took a chance on this. They went all in on the horror mystery murder here. And it felt so different from the previous two movies. The only thing anchoring it being the detective that is in all three of these movies. But I think that's fun. It's like they're refreshingly different from one another. So I enjoyed that. It did keep me guessing. I kind of had my suspicions. I will say I figured out who it was just a few minutes before it was announced who the killer is. But yeah, I thought those elements all worked. What did I not like? There's not necessarily anything I just like straight up disliked in this movie. Is it some fantastic film that I'm going to rave about? No, it's not that. But so there's really no huge negative for me. The story could have maybe, I don't know. There was definitely room for improvement here is what I'm trying to get at, but there's no big negative that totally stands out in my mind with the story. But so what would I rate this? 5 being my max level of enjoyment. I'm going to give this 3.5 hoots. Again, it's not the best thing ever, but in a day and age where we don't get many whodunits, I enjoy whodunit, so I did enjoy that element with it. And I've enjoyed really all three of these installments to some level. It's, it's not like this movie, like it's somewhat forgettable to a degree, I guess, but I don't know. It was interesting. I did find it interesting watching it. So I give it a 3.5 hoots. If you're looking for something, if you like whodunits, if you like horror movies, then I think this is the perfect movie for you. It's kind of unique. And again, I do give it 3.5. I appreciated that they tried something. They went there and they went all in. And for the most part, it was fairly entertaining to me. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the new movie, A Haunting in Venice. What do you guys think? Have you seen the preview? Were you kind of confused? Like, is this a horror movie or is this these whodunit movies that we've seen previously? Yeah, share your thoughts below. And if you have not yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also give this video a thumbs up. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, remember to be a force of light. All right, bye guys.